This video will walk you through the importance of making sure you have accessibility available to students for offline instruction. And this goes for students who may be in ARA or any student who will be doing remote learning as a face-to-face AB student. So as I look into this course here, and I have downloaded this course on a Chromebook so that I could see what it looked like when it is on the internet and what it looks like, more importantly, when it is off the internet. So right now, when I look at this course on the internet, it looked fine. When I looked at this page, it was fine. When I went to the next page, a student could read this fine. When I got to here, because this video is an MP4, the student was able to access it offline. But when I got to the activity right here where it says open this interactive application in a new tab, a student offline can't see this at all because you need to have internet. So because it was only accessible by the internet, I typed the questions directly into the rich content editor. And I simply opened up a Word document. I used my voice to do the typing so I didn't have to manually have to do it. And then I cut and pasted and put it right in here. Then if a student is doing this offline and they can look at the screen, write down their answers on a sheet of paper or whatever they're using, even typing it on a Word document on their Chromebook to submit later, they could simply check themselves by clicking the answer key. And I uploaded this so that they would have to go to this later because the interactive application does a self-check when they go through it anyway. So I wanted to give that same option to an offline student. They would be able to click here and it would download to their computer and they can go to it and it'll pop up on the screen and they could actually check themselves visually using this. There were a couple applications like this one in this course. So I went through and changed them all so that they could be accessible. This one down here had one, but it was simply giving notes. So I went in and just added the notes up here at the top because all it was a quick review. Same thing. I did a voice type, cut and paste and put it in here. This one right here was an interactive one where they're doing a sort. A student that's offline would not be able to open this. I wanted to have it offered to a student that would be online. If I had made this a Google slide, it would have been the same thing. An offline student would not have access to it. So instead, on my computer, I made it a slide, but then I downloaded it as a PowerPoint. I just clicked it and it went to my computer. So when I open it up, this is what a student will see. And I simply cut and paste the picture from the actual screen on the Canvas course. And I would tell the student, when you go on to this, go to slideshow, present from the beginning. And now an offline student can actually do this activity just as a student would be able to do online. They don't really have to present. I clicked that by mistake. So they can now sort this out and do the same thing that I was asking a teacher, the student, to do online. They can now do away. And then they would simply download this or save as, and it would be in their download folder anyway, and it would update it. And that way, if they wanted to submit it later, once they drive up to the internet, they could. And then they would just close it out and be back into the course. Another hiccup that I found when I went through the course was, let me see. This one was about a career. The whole activity was based on this internet site. So I gave them an alternative one, meaning they had to interview some people doing careers that they were interested in, because that would help them prepare for the homework assignment. I also noticed that offline students do not see the submit button at all. They won't see an assignment at all. It won't even show up for download. So I made a page that had the exit slip on it. And it says at the top, if you have the internet, ignore this page and move on to the next page. But if you don't have internet, this is what you need to do. And you need to write down your answers on loose leaf paper and submit it to your teacher through a drop-off location. If a student's online, they would simply take a quiz online like they normally would. So this is what we are talking about when we mean by making information accessible offline without relying solely on Google Slides, Google Docs, and Google Forms. You can still have those in here, but you also need to partner it with a PowerPoint if you're using Slide, with a Word doc if you're using Google Docs. So if you have any questions, please reach out. We're here to help.